thank you guys officially for joining this Built to Thrive that we're going to be doing, hopefully going forward. We have some pretty cool plans for it. Like Kate's kind of the brainchild. I'm here for the ride in a supporting role, and we're going to tackle this together. But we hope to entertain, bring value, grow the brokerage, grow help develop you, and just give you some great content.
Yeah.
Like over the next, I don't know, couple decades if this works out.
I would say
we'll see. All right. So why don't we introduce ourselves? Kate, why don't you go first?
Yeah, I'm Kate Johnson. I am the East Side team leader here at Greater Metropolitan. One funny thing is we realized that not everybody knows what a team leader means. So we're going to cover what that looks like in just a little bit. But I've been in the real estate industry for almost a decade, coming on 9.5 years. It's my life. I have a 4-year-old daughter. I love Cleveland sports. I love coffee. I love food. That sums me up. That's all.
No wonder we're friends. Food, Cleveland sports, coffee. Like I'm kind of looking in a mirror right now.
Yeah, no, this is it's working for us. Okay.
Riding a Harley and then she'd have it all covered.
I know.
Well, I have to say, my 4-year-old asked for a motorcycle for her birthday, if that counts. I said no, but she did get a pink Jeep, which I feel like is cool. Yeah, like it's equally as like
start them young,
outdoorsy fun.
I love it. Good stuff. Yeah, I was here for over a year, like 18 months, 15 months, before I even knew what a team leader was.
Yeah.
And then as I was going through career visioning with Mike, and we were talking about the position, several months ago. That's when I really understood what a team leader actually does, right? Because there's this team leader title, but then the leaders of our teams are rainmakers, and it's all kind of very
team owner,
team owners, team lead. So that's we wanted to clear that up for you. So Kate and I's responsibility as a rule is to grow the brokerage, right? And we do that many different ways. The first way we do it is by developing our existing agents to grow their businesses so that you can be more profitable and grow your downline and your profit share. We also grow the brokerage, obviously, by recruiting agents from real estate schools and other brokerages, helping them find the way home to Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan. And then we also grow the brokerage from the standpoint of putting great people at the front of the training rooms. Great agents who have built thriving businesses and building thriving businesses to help share their knowledge, right? So we're doing I don't know, can I get a high five? Because some of the people that we put in front of the training room this month, Jeff Wang, Jake Lozier, we got bangers coming in next Tuesday for a panel discussion.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
About the agents that are going to be in the room to hear from these amazing people.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I relate to what you said about not really understanding what a team leader does, especially real estate's the only industry or job I've ever had. Yeah. So hearing the term office manager or broker, oftentimes at other brokerages or other companies, those are intertwined as one person.
Yeah.
And at Keller Williams, it's just so different.
Yeah.
And so the easiest way for me to kind of explain that to someone on the outside looking in is we attract talent and we accelerate talent.
Yeah.
So we bring talent in and we accelerate talent within. That's it.
Yeah.
And so whatever that looks like, we wear many hats at any given time, and we aren't the broker. I think that's important to note. Don't call me with your broker questions. We'll be calling Ginty. And same thing with office manager stuff. We actually have a full staff at Greater Metropolitan with which other offices just don't have.
Yeah.
And in the times of 2025, when brick and mortars are, questionable, if it's necessary for your business, I think arguably it's more important than ever before.
Yeah.
To have the amount of support that we provide our agents is actually incredible. And in comparison to some, top talent brokerages across Ohio, I would take you and I out of it. They operate better than everybody.
Yeah.
And then putting us in, it's holy cow, this is something really special.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that explains it. If you are from a different brokerage and you're watching this, or you're scrolling Spotify podcast late at night and you're like, holy crap, I love Kait and Burnsy, call us and we'll tell you more. But
First
really,
of all, weird and thank you.
yeah, I'm flattered.
Yeah, I
And
think
if
you're
you know
right,
what's
yeah.
wrong with my hands, send me
Yeah.
a message.
Also, if you're a doctor and you know how to fix dead hands from the clutch and tuck, we'd be interested in that information. Just pop in the chat.
Call me.
And, yeah.
Thank you so
Oh, registered nurse has popped in the chat. No, I'm just kidding. No, I think we are in a unique situation at our brokerage too, because you know, when it comes to us putting people at the front of the room who are just growing, thriving businesses and productivity coaches and just putting like high thinkers in the front of rooms, you know, those people want to give back because at one point in time they were in the chair learning from other really great agents. You know, like I think one thing that makes us unique from the perspective of someone who wasn't always in the real estate industry is like I would be in sales trainings,
Yeah.
hearing and learning from someone who's never had a sales job, right? Like I
Yeah.
would be learning from people who they weren't in the trenches regularly selling real estate or hadn't sold real estate in the past or whatever it was I was selling at the time. And it's so refreshing to like be in a training room learning from people who are doing the things, you know?
I definitely think that's like where the agent owned part really comes in and like really shows its value. Like obviously you're dad, so you have been told a million times prior to having children, like you're not gonna understand it until you feel it.
Yeah,
I'm a mom, my mom told me that all the time, you're not gonna understand it until you feel it.
yeah,
And it's evident through that specific training, like that, like if you come in and say, okay, like Jake Lozier, who's had 25 years worth of experience, started the Greater Metropolitan Office, has done X, Y, and Z, is literally giving his listing presentation away. Like it feels different
Yeah.
than going and saying like, well, this is how you get a listing.
Mhm.
Like the culture is just very, very, very different here.
yeah. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, let's pivot. So let's talk about kind of like what we hope to do with this podcast.
I have
Slash
great hopes and
built to
dreams.
thrive. Yeah, so like I'm gonna let Kait take the lead on this because we're both in Bold and we're having a blast in Bold every Wednesday, and then we meet every Wednesday for half an hour, 45 minutes to just talk about our game plan, how we're gonna attack the week. We feed off of each other and ask each other for advice. And this podcast built to thrive like recording setting thing came up, and Kait shared her vision with me, and like I was inspired. Like I'm so excited. But you're gonna explain it better than I.
Yeah, I hope
yeah.
so. So 3 points on why we're doing what we're doing, right? And what this is gonna look like. The first is one of the coolest experiences of my entire career was building the Keller Williams Young Professionals chapter in Cleveland. We took it from 3 people to at its peak like close to 100. And all of a sudden we watched really amazing things happen to all of our businesses. Some of us became team leaders, some of us are now mega agents, some of us went on to be expansion directors of really amazing teams like Livian and Place. Some of us became OPs. And what I found through that is there was nothing each of us did individually that took us from point A to point B. It was the community
Mhm.
that really was like, you are a mega agent, like just go be one.
Yeah.
And you are a team leader, just go be one.
Mhm.
And I have a person you should talk to. Kait, you should go interview with Adam Hergenroth there and get this job. Like it wasn't because I was great. It was because the community was great.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden what we noticed too was, we have friends in Raleigh who are coming to our events. We have friends in Texas. We have friends in Chicago. We're plugging into their models and systems. We're having a mega agent from Florida teach us about how all she does is luxury open houses and she's a mega agent. And all of a sudden we have these really cool, unique ideas here in Northeast Ohio that we would have never had if we didn't expand our network. And for me, that is this. The purpose of the Built to Thrive and name TBD. We're
Yeah.
both like,
We're on the
do we
fence
love
about
it? Do
that
we
name.
hate it? We don't know. So if you have a comment or a name, throw it at us. But that is this, right? We're building this community of we're bigger than just Greater Metropolitan. We have friends in high places, if you will. We have friends with deep pockets, and we want to tap into that network and have them kind of come teach us what they're doing at a high level outside of just Cleveland. And then the second thing was, during COVID, we kind of teased this a little bit, in the Keller Williams space with, like a Red Talks idea. And it was amazing. We had, the Ryan Youngs of the world come teach us, listing strategies. We had the Jason Abrams of the world come teach systems and models. We had, just crazy, crazy high hitters just pouring in everybody, because that's what Keller Williams has always done. And so we're doing that here at at a local level. And then the third and final thing for me is, we don't need to just, develop your real estate business. Like the cool part about our job is we're given the flexibility and the freedom to care about your personal life and like want you to be a better human in addition to being a mega agent or whatever your real estate goal is. So we have some really, really interesting heavy hitters coming in, like Scott Simon, who wrote the book Scare Your Soul. They're just really, really incredible people teaching you how to live a life worth living in addition to having a business worth owning.
Yeah.
And it's just a really cool platform to have us all together in one spot. So
Yeah. I think we
That was a
definitely,
lot,
I
but
think like when you said,
I get worked up.
when you said Red Talks.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm a sucker for a good buzzword, you know, like,
Yeah.
but yeah, like when we leverage each other's strengths, right, through collaboration, we eliminate our weaknesses.
Yeah.
And, you know, Bold right now, we're in Bold, and we were encouraged on Wednesday to, you know, create a 60-second reel to post on your social media about what you're currently working on. And as I'm in this team leader role, the longer I'm in this team leader role, the more I'm realizing is that when, you know, failing agents, that's probably a harsh term, but like that's the term that's coming to mind. Failing agents out there seem like, you know, they'll have one thing in common, and that's they're trying to figure it out on their own through trial and error rather than collaborating with other agents in a community. And like, if nothing else, I think Keller Williams does that at a really high level, right? Like different avenues of collaboration and leveraging each other's strengths. And knowing that like this is just one more, you know, one more notch in the belt that allows us to create and foster an environment where our agents are going to be able to collaborate, not just with people in our brokerage, not even necessarily people just in our industry, but like these people who have impacted so many lives at a high level. Like we're hoping that in this format we will bring access to not only Keller Williams agents, but anybody that wants to hop on here and be a part of this. So
No, I completely agree. You
so
nailed it.
that like really excites me. You know, like as team leaders, of course we're supposed to care about the agents, but like Kate and I truly do care about like our agents, the development. We talk all the time about how we can help enrich agents' businesses, help them grow their businesses, help enrich their lives.
Well, I
Because we've been a product of that.
That is like the perfect thing, because like I think like if we hadn't experienced what Keller Williams did for us, it would be really hard to do what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like what people don't see behind the doors is the team leader role is hard, like really hard. It's actually arguably the hardest role in the company. And with that being said, it's usually the people who have firsthand been affected by Keller Williams, or firsthand your life has been changed by Keller Williams, and therefore it makes it easier. Like if you've taken the KPA or you've taken a disc, you'll have things that say like your natural talent is this, your natural talent is this. And I will say my KPA is like extremely high for a team leader. And I don't know that I'd be able to do this if I hadn't been like personally affected by what the company has done for my life.
Yeah.
And I think it makes it
how the system of beliefs have manifested themselves.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I love that. Yeah, in Bold, I know I keep mentioning Bold, but like things just keep popping in there. And you know, when Kate and I report our numbers each week in Bold, it's a little bit different than, you know, the agents who are reporting listings taken, buyers signed, under contract, right? Like the thing that we track is literally lives changed, right? How many appointments we had with newly licensed agents or agents in production or even real estate students, and how many people, quote unquote, lives changed. And that translates to people that we've brought to the brokerage. I just love that verbiage because like for me in my life, and I know for you, that's been true. That's been true.
100%.
So. Yeah, good stuff. So
there was an old, speaking of Bold, there was an old Bold law, and now I'm thinking about all the things I read all the time, and I don't even think it's there anymore. There was an old Bold law back in the the good old days,
Old
old bold. And it was a law that said money is only good for the good it can do.
Yeah,
And so I think putting yourself in that mindset or putting yourself in that realm of like, money really is only good for the good it can do instead of like what money can do for me.
mhm,
I think your life changes. And I think you really have to be willing to try that mindset, even if it's something you've never thought about before. In order, one, in my opinion, to be successful at anything, but particularly the real estate business.
yeah.
And I
agreed.
think that that's like something that our team, not just you and I, but like our entire team like embodies.
Yeah.
Like very, very, very much so. From like all of our agents giving back, to our leadership team giving to, you and I, for just do all the random stuff that we do. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know a single group in Cleveland that embodies like that term better than,
Yeah,
yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
So we have some audience members in here that are just look like they're like dying to participate. So why don't we pivot for a second? And I want to hear from our audience.
I would love
Can we
to.
do this? Like, let's just, we're doing it live. So Don, Wesley, Brian, Cheryl, Kate, everybody out there, like based off of everything that you've heard about what we're hoping to accomplish, I would like to hear something that you would love us to cover in the coming weeks. Is there something that revolves around mindset, something that revolves around collaboration or growing your business? You can put it in the chat, or you can just come off mute. Let's hear from you guys.
I'm all for collaboration.
Yeah, I love that.
Tell me about that, Don. In what ways are you all about collaboration? What's a way that collaboration has manifested itself in your life over the last month
Well,
or so?
both east side and west side for Sean and I just, and you do a good job of this now, just get us more involved with your presentations. I mean, try and make us a part of that. Because I think we can bring something to every aspect of the real estate transaction, not just lending, especially the experience that Sean and I both have. And on top of that, it would be great to maybe open up or get the newer agents in once a month or every 2 weeks or something, and just have your vendors educate them on the process of going forward, of writing purchase agreements and how to refer us and how to reach out to us 7 days a week. I know for myself, it's 7 days a week. Sean is 7 days a week. My tagline is, if I'm working, you're working, period.
Yeah.
So don't ever apologize for calling me after hours, during hours, on weekends, Saturdays, Sundays. We'll answer the phone.
Yeah, I definitely think between you and Sean, Don, like there's not a lot you guys haven't seen in the industry that you could help advise on. So that's great.
Yeah, and so I've got good news for you, Don. Like one thing that Kate and I really haven't had an opportunity to talk about, but as I've been meeting with our affiliates, you and I met for a coffee down at Cafe in Lakewood, which I enjoyed. I met with Renee Kozak. I met with Jennifer from ORT, Ohio Real Title. And everyone seems to kind of be on the same page with having maybe like a once a quarter vendor day where we bring in lunch and we bring in all the agents that have joined Keller Williams, whether they're whether they're newly licensed, whether they're 10 years in production, whether they're brand new, fresh out of real estate school, and just put them in a room with all of our affiliates and just have a meet and greet. And you explain to the room how you help agents grow their businesses, how you help agents support their businesses through the different things that you offer. I love that idea of collaboration and how we hope to like how awesome would it be for a brand new agent to come into our brokerage and already have a baked in relationship with a 36-year lending partner, with a warranty partner, with a title company. I wish I would have had that when I started. I started with a different brokerage who for now will remain nameless. But that was one thing that I loved when I came to Keller Williams, is like I already had access to great people and right away.
What's funny about that is I remember this is like such a full circle moment, and Sean and I were just laughing about this yesterday. And then for people who don't know on the call, Sean Hadley is our cross country mortgage representative on the east side, and Don's our cross country mortgage representative here on the west side. And I was talking to Sean, and we self-discovered or remembered the first transaction I ever did. Sean was the
Was
lender
Sean?
for my buyer, and they came to me pre-approved, and this was way back in the day, back in the first Federal of Lakewood days.
That's awesome.
And I remember him literally doing everything, which like, sorry to my like broker at the time, but I was like, I have no clue
Mhm.
what I'm doing. But they came to me pre-approved. They were friends of a friend. And it was time to like write an offer, and I was like, oh. I was like, oh no. And I remember calling Sean and being like, hey, and he was like, I'm just gonna, he was like, don't mind, and if you've ever met Sean, he's like the nicest, kindest, most respectful person, and he was like, if I may. And
me
he
see John build an offer.
and genuinely taught me how to, literally how to do realtor.
Yeah.
Like he taught me from the beginning, and it was funny because we were like, oh my gosh. And then shortly after I went to a different Keller Williams, shortly after he joined cross country, and then it was like, oh, we should have connected, and then full circle.
Yeah.
I was interviewing with Greater Metropolitan. They're like, oh, we partnered with Sean Hadley and his group, and I was like, makes complete sense.
Mhm.
So
Love
good
it.
people, but yeah, no, I agree with that for sure. I think the scariest part of getting into real estate isn't just getting into real estate. It's like, what the heck do I say when someone asks me, how do I get pre-approved?
Yeah.
Or what's it gonna cost me to purchase this house? Or what's title? Like those aren't things that they teach you in real estate school, but funny enough.
Yeah.
And like you don't have to really learn that right off the bat, because we have such great partners that just, if you get them on the phone, they'll do it for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that.
4 hours
Yeah,
of.
Too,
Yeah,
about
go
the only
ahead.
thing I can help you with is picking a March Madness bracket. I think I'm busted already after first day.
Day
No help
one,
there,
day
guys.
two, no good.
No help there.
Did you have BYU going all the way again this year?
No, I didn't have BYU going, but I tried to pick some upsets and I nailed the wrong ones. How's that sound?
It's so tricky picking upsets. All right,
Yeah.
well, thank you, Don, for coming off mute. Appreciate it. I know Brian came off mute, so I'm gonna take that as you have something to share, Brian.
What I find the most value in this brokerage is the mindset, talking about the mindset and keeping a positive mindset, and just how to do it, because that's where I can get lost,
Yeah, I love
not
that.
getting the mindset. So stuff like this really, really helps me do, stuff when you do it in the meetings and things like that, that helps. And I think coaching is amazing.
I do love that, and I think like the biggest like aha I've had in the past probably 3 months around positivity mindset was honestly when we went over all of our numbers, not like our particular company's numbers, but when we went over, the GDP.
Yeah.
And like all of all, like it felt like everything was crashing down on us for such a long time. And if you've been in the industry for long enough, everybody and their mother is talking about the interest rates and the inventory and the affordability, and just all of the things that make our job feel bad,
Yeah.
and that
so heavy.
feel heavy, feel scary, feel doom and gloom. And the power of positive talk, or the power of mindset, really taking yourself out of that, like, oh, this is bad, for like, these are just numbers.
Yeah.
Like numbers aren't bad or good. They just tell a story of how to audit your life
Yeah.
to keep winning. So it's like if you were doing 10 appointments before and getting 3 under contract, now you might have to do 20 to get 3. And that's not bad or good. It's just the numbers are telling you a story.
Yeah.
And I love putting yourself in that mindset instead of like, this is just so hard and like everyone's failing in this market and everyone's down, because what we have found, Burnsy and I have found, is actually most realtors businesses, if they're operating at a high level, they're actually up.
Yeah.
Especially with volume and especially with GCI, which is the most important, the gross commission income.
Yeah.
So for us, putting yourself in that spot, Brian, like you just said, like that positive mindset, it's more important than people think it is. It's not like fluff. It's not hoorah. It's
Yeah.
not like the Keller Kool-Aid. Like it actually is what top performing business owners do.
Yeah.
And just letting those numbers and letting that story tell itself so you can audit the way you're doing your business is super important.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Yeah. I think another old bold,
Old
as
bold.
you said, what is when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Mm.
And that's been one of my favorite phrases for a decade. And that's kind of like what Brian, when you were talking about mindset and positivity and how that can affect your business and your life, like those are the things that happen in collaboration, right? Like when I'm in Wednesday, 11 a.m. group coaching with Wesley and our productivity coach, Wesley Croft. That's like, that always encourages me to look at things a different way.
Yeah.
Like if the change the way that you look at things, you know, the things you look at change, and Wesley is always encouraging us, and from a collaboration standpoint, we're always encouraged and challenged to look at our businesses in a different way.
I'm laughing because like I just had this, like we genuinely could have a podcast of just bold laws.
Yeah.
Cause I was like, I was talking to response like, well, what you focus on expands. Like literally, I mean, they are all true and they're all applicable, but like we oh god.
Just like, I feel like we're just like eating, sleeping, and breathing bold right now.
I know.
It's like, all right,
No, I know. It's so
get off
funny.
this podcast before, so I can make my 100 phone calls this week. No, so I know that Wesley had come off mute in the beginning there. Like, Wesley, did we want to circle back to you? You always have some good stuff to share, some golden nuggets, if you will.
For sure.
I don't know about that, but I will say one thing that I enjoyed what Kate said a second ago is what you have to remember about information is that it's emotionless, right? Like, so a lot of people will take information and then they get emotional about it, which is not necessarily like smart or wise, right? Like information, like the stuff about the GDP and all that, like it's very easy to roll our eyes at it and go, you know, peace out. That's not worth me thinking about, because like I live in the reality of today. Whereas like, you know, Kate's making a great point. Like the information, it doesn't carry emotion to it. It shouldn't make you feel yuck about it. It shouldn't make you feel great about it. It should just make you say, okay, what do I need to do to change my business today to reflect whatever that information is telling me? And the reality is the information, like you said, Kate, is like, it's great. Like it's really great news. And it's not all doom and gloom like everybody wants it to be or thinks that it's going to be. So that's the first thing that I wanted to say. Second one, you know what my answer is going to be, Burnsy. Like, I think we should talk about mindset all the time, because to me, like that's the biggest problem with every real estate agent that gets into the business is their mindset is completely twisted as to how it should be. You know, so think about somebody that's coming into the business from, you know, being at a 9-to-5 job their entire life. It's a completely different mindset shift from that to coming into like, hey, you're your own boss, right? And so the two things that I'll leave you guys with, one is if you were your own boss, right, which you are, but if like, would you hire yourself? So that's the first thing. So would you fire yourself? The second thing is like, you've got to start thinking like a business owner, point blank. And so what do business owners do? What do they think about? Right. You know, James Clear, Atomic Habits, you guys will hear me talk about that a lot because I love the book. But who are you becoming? Right? If you want to be a successful real estate agent, you got to do what successful real estate agents do.
Right? Yeah, I love that.
Be, do, achieve.
Yeah.
Bold law.
Yeah. There's another bold law. Be, do, achieve. There you go.
It's funny too, and like just for a moment, like, and I don't even know if this first podcast is gonna go anywhere. So this is just like some internal chatter. Like, can we talk about coaching for a second? Because do you know the amount of ego associated with real estate is like more than any other industry, maybe other than like professional athletes or, you know, like celebrities in Hollywood. It's crazy how we associate ego with everything that we do. And it might be just a sales thing, but I find it particularly interesting in the real estate industry. Everybody has an ego that they want to figure it out on their own. And it's like, hey, buddy, like you don't get paid more for like doing it on your own. Like you don't get paid more for figuring it out, or you don't get paid more for like spending years grinding. Like you get paid more by doing more. And so like, how do you do more? I don't know a single professional athlete. Let's even go further. I don't know a single celebrity in Hollywood, an actor, a singer. I don't know a single person that doesn't have a coach. That operates at a high level. I don't know a single person. And especially Wesley, like you just said, if you're not a real estate native, if you're coming from a different industry, you 100% have to rewire your brain. To take one, in my opinion, the ego is completely out. And then two, like asking for help, right? Obviously. And then three, like you just talked about, like if you don't have a coach, or if you don't have someone in your world that's willing to give you an exact playbook of how to do what it is that you want to do, not what your coach wants to do, or not what you think you should be doing to get, dare I say, stock, like what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have someone helping you do that, you good luck. I mean, you have a natural talent, I'm sure. Everyone has a natural ceiling of achievement and a natural talent that they're gonna hit. And I don't wanna take those odds for me, for my family, for my income. Like there's just no way. I would never have an ego associated with how I'm gonna provide for my family.
Yeah.
And so Wesley, I like appreciate you more than you know. I think what you do is amazing. And for all the agents in our brokerage that haven't plugged into coaching, here's your
Me too.
30-second from me that like, don't call me until you call a coach. Just kidding. You can always call me, but for real,
Yeah.
right? Like Birdsy and I both have coaches.
Yep.
My coach kicks my butt and like he makes me a whole lot better.
Yeah.
It'll make
for
me a
sure.
whole lot more money than if I were trying to do it on my own. So,
Yeah. I've been, developing and mentoring salespeople for the last 15 years
Yeah.
in one industry or another. And I always think it's a really, really sad day in the life of a sales professional when they feel like they have reached the pinnacle of their career and there's nothing else to learn from anyone else. And like, ironically, like it happens a lot in your 20s. Like in my experience, like it's when it happened to me, like when you say the word ego, like nobody had a bigger ego than I did when I was in my mid to late 20s.
I don't even
And
guess that
you know
about
what?
you. I feel like you're very humble. You're
No,
very
This was
not
20 years
ego-y.
ago,
Yeah,
I'm in my
okay.
mid 40s now. And I've learned through failure many times over that when you just let your guard down and let people in and admit to yourself that you don't know it all and admit to yourself, maybe I would get something out of collaborating and relationships and having a coach and taking some advice from people who have done it. Like that's when, show a little humility and, that's when I think people's careers and lives and
Change.
relationships just explode,
Well, and
like
here's-
they
here's
just
the
go,
thing,
like to just really amplify up.
100%.
level up.
Here's like a perfect example. I was just getting coffee with a top producer from a different company. He's in his second year of real estate. He's in his 20s and he closed 28 units last year.
Yeah,
And he doesn't have a coach and it was a lot of SOI and yet he does pay for Zillow leads. And the conversation was just so interesting. He's like, well, I got it figured out. Like, I got it. And I'm like, if you are
What if you
doing,
didn't
I'm like,
too?
but if you are doing 28 units on your own with no help, imagine what you would be doing if you had help.
Yeah,
Like that is the mindset shift. It's like, it's not saying you're not great. To raise your hand and get a coach is not saying like, I need help. It's like saying like, get me better quicker. And that is like the painful reality of our industry is that so many people are like, this is good. I'm good. This is good. This is good. This is it. And by the way, like the average realtor sells less than 5 units a year.
yeah,
So in Cleveland, not great.
yeah,
And maybe in like Miami, great, but like Cleveland, not great. And like 28 units, 30 units, that's super impressive, especially for, your second year in real estate. But like imagine,
mhm,
just imagine, just like tell me what it would have felt like instead of 30 units if you did 60.
yeah,
Like put yourself in that mindset and then say like, who can do it for me? Because you can't do it on your own.
yeah.
There's nobody that does it on their own. There's just not one single person. So anyway, that's my plug for coaching. That's my plug for Wesley
Yeah,
and for Burnsy and I. Obviously, we don't coach the same capacity that Wesley does, and we're the connector of the
Yeah.
coach, if you will. So
yeah, good stuff, love it. Does anybody else have anything? Don, you came back off mute.
I'm good.
You're good? All right, perfect. Yeah, so
getting all excited.
that's after we after we had our technical difficulties for 5 minutes, we're about 45 minutes right now, and we're walking into an ALC meeting in a few minutes. So, yeah, maybe we should just, like, since we've been on the call, does anyone have any other advice for Kate for her dead hands?
Dude,
Because like, are they still?
they're still sore. And it's like, I swear it's not getting better. Like we might have to take the ALC to the urgent care.
Run your hands under hot water or something. Well, thank you guys for tuning in today. Just a couple of quick plugs. We have next Tuesday at the sales meetings at each individual office, we have overcoming seller objections. So whether you're a Keller Williams agent, an EXP agent, a local agent, a real agent, Howard Hanna agent, if you want to learn from some big heavy hitters how to overcome seller objections, our sales meetings are respectively 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 to 11, depending on how much information we can drag out of this panel, at our
I
respective
know
locations.
at the east side too, we were saying just, it's not a scheduled thing, but for whoever wants to, we're gonna do a call day after that.
Oh,
So
lovely.
take what you learned from the objections class and then we're all gonna call together. So I'm sure you guys will have the availability to do that
There you
too.
go. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We greatly appreciate it. We hope to see you at the future of Thrive with Kait and Burnsy or whatever the heck.
Whatever it
We'll
is,
see.
we'll get it buttoned up.
Have a great day, guys.
Bye.